Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really powerful, human-centered way of thinking about psychology. It's all about moving past those diagnostic labels to get to true self-understanding. And it's based on the incredible work of a retired psychologist who found a much more empowering way to help people. So let's start with this quote because it really hits on a feeling that I think a lot of us can recognize. Have you ever felt that way? Like you've been reduced to a single word on a chart? It's that feeling of being defined by a technical term instead of being seen as a whole, complex person. Well, a retired clinical psychologist named Dr. Lane Lasseter saw this exact problem in his own practice. He realized that sometimes those labels could actually do more harm than good. So he decided to take a different path, one that focuses on our shared humanity instead of just clinical jargon. This comparison just lays it all out so perfectly. On one side, you have the standard diagnostic terms, the lingo. It's meant to be a helpful shorthand for professionals, but man, it can feel so cold and dehumanizing. But then, look at the other side. That's Dr. Lasseter's approach. It's about using ordinary language, talking about our shared humanity, and really focusing on the power of individual choice. It's a huge shift from being defined by a label to being the author of your own story. So you gotta ask, right? What would drive a clinical psychologist to challenge the very foundations of his field? Well, as it turns out, the answer wasn't something he found in a textbook. His motivation was personal, deeply personal. See, he wasn't just some detached observer. He had actually walked a similar path himself. He recovered from what he calls family trauma syndrome and from alcoholism. This personal journey gave him a profound first-hand understanding of the very struggles his clients were going through. And this is where that personal struggle turns into a professional superpower. Because he had lived through it, Dr. Lasseter gained this unique clarity. He could fuse his academic training with his own life experience, and that combination, it was a game changer. It allowed him to not only understand his clients, but more importantly, to truly empower them. So he had this powerful personal insight, and then it got sharpened and really structured by the teachings of his most important mentor, a brilliant professor at the University of Colorado named Dr. Peter G. Osorio. Now, Dr. Osorio pioneered a whole field called descriptive psychology, and the idea is, well, it's pretty revolutionary in its simplicity. Instead of just slapping a label like anxious on someone, you would describe what they actually do in plain language, like they check the lock on their door 3 times before leaving. It's all about observing and understanding the what without rushing to a judgmental why. It's about seeing clearly, not just labeling. He gave Dr. Lasseter 4 simple but seriously profound instructions that became the absolute foundation of his work. Okay, you ready? Let's dive into them. All right, here they are, and they build on each other beautifully. First, be on your client's side. It's all about trust, a real alliance. Second, help them understand what's actually happening. Just cut through all the confusion and see the situation for what it is. Third, help them see how their actions make sense in that context. And finally, the ultimate goal, empower them to expand their choices. It's basically a roadmap from feeling lost to feeling empowered. Now, all 4 of those are absolutely critical, but Dr. Lasseter found that the second one, understanding what actually happens, that was the master key. This is the question that unlocks everything. I mean, just look at the pure simplicity of this. 3 little words. What actually happens? This one question is such a powerful tool. It slices right through all the noise, the assumptions, the stories we tell ourselves, all the labels, and it gets right to the heart of any challenge. It's basically an invitation to see reality with fresh eyes. And this is exactly how Dr. Lasseter put it into practice. He took that question and aimed it at his own past, at his own experience with a troubled family. By asking what actually happens over and over, he was able to map out the hidden dynamics. And once he had that map, he could create these clear, effective roadmaps to help his clients find their own way to recovery. And this all leads us to the ultimate goal. Because once you truly understand what's happening, you're no longer a victim of it. You gain the power to change it. That's it right there. Understanding is the key that unlocks the door to empowerment. So this is the path, this logical, powerful progression. It all starts with getting a crystal clear understanding of what happens. From there, you start to see how your own actions totally make sense within that context. And that insight is huge because it helps you recognize your own agency, the fact that you have choices. You can then start to explore new ways to act and finally make informed choices to make your life better. It's the journey from being a passive passenger to being the active driver of your own life. Ultimately, this is what it's all about. It's not about finding the right label. It's about embracing our shared humanity, really understanding our own stories, and then using that understanding to make conscious choices. Choices that help us build the best life we possibly can, no matter what challenges come our way. So that leaves us with a final thought. If you take this deceptively simple question, what actually happens, and you apply it to a challenge in your own life, what new paths, what new choices might you discover that you never even knew were there?